Hey folks, Will Brink here, brinkzone.com, and of course I'm enjoying a big mug of my bomb-proof coffee, and the recipe to that, which is free, you can grab right here if interested. What I want to talk about today is a common misconception which you hear about acidic blood. Has been a big push for a number of years talking about people having acidic blood, and then there's been a push for various supplements and diets and that type of thing to counter what they refer to as acidic blood. So, do you or do people have acidic blood? The answer is no, they do not. And the reason for that is that the body has to keep the blood in a very narrow pH range. And in fact, it does not change much at all. And if it did change outside that very narrow range, you'd be in trouble and would die rapidly. So the physiologic fact is that you actually literally can't have, at least for very long, without getting into a lot of trouble, acidic blood. And so that is where there's been a lot of misconceptions. However, there is a truth to this. There is a rub to this topic, which I'm going to get to. And that is that the body does, of course, have to keep the pH in a very narrow range. And to do that, it either is going to get those buffering agents from your food, or it's going to take it from your body, hence your muscle mass and your bone mass. Now, what happens is the average, let's say, quote-unquote American diet, also known as SAD, is very acidic. That is the foods that people eat, meats, a lot of refined grains, that type of thing. I'm sitting outside, that's a bird there, of course, do create an acidic load. And, of course, what the body has to do to keep the pH of your blood in that narrow range will pull those buffering agents from your bone, from your muscle mass, that type of thing. And what that leads to is something referred to as a low-grade metabolic acidosis. And that happens over long periods of time with the typical American diet of high meat intakes, high refined grains, very little fruits and vegetables. And so you end up with sarcopenia, a loss of muscle mass, and osteoporosis, and so forth. So there actually is a kernel of truth to it, but people have gotten it wrong calling it acidic blood. And of course you have a lot of marketers and scam artists and stuff that have also used the acidic blood to sell particular products and supplements and so forth. So I'm going to link to an article right here that you can check out that does peripherally discuss this low-grade metabolic acidosis and how to counter it with diet and supplements and so forth. But I'm going to give you the lazy person's guide to this situation. You can look at this in depth. The issue is, don't make yourself crazy. What you have is people that either overly focus on this topic, or they use the topic to again sell particular products and supplements, to make people crazy. And it's not hard to counter this low-grade metabolic acidosis with a change in diet, which of course you should be following anyway. It's the usual advice, fruits and vegetables. But I'm going to give you the lazy man's way to do this. Now, basically, you go to the salad bar, you get a pre-made salad of lots of leafy greens, i.e. kale, spinach, other vegetables, tomatoes, peppers, onions, mushrooms, so on and so on. Again, you don't want to focus too much on this one magic food, this one magic whatever that's going to counter this. You still want the usual advice, a balanced diet. So you go and get those salad greens and all that, put it in the refrigerator. Whenever you're having a protein meal, eggs, meat, whatever, grab a few handfuls of those leafy greens and eat them along with the protein meal. When I have a protein drink, for example, I will often grab some fresh or frozen leafy greens, baby spinach, some kale. Sometimes I'll also put a scoop or two of a green drink in there. And again, don't get too crazy with the green drinks. They're not miracle foods. They don't cure all that ails you and so on. You still want to get most of these buffering agents, basically they're minerals, from your whole food intakes. Now that doesn't mean that, again, supplements can't be an assist here, i.e. the term supplemental. There have been a number of studies that have found that buffering agents such as potassium bicarb, even sodium bicarb and stuff, can very much counter the acidity of acidic load from some of the meals that we get. But again, it should come mostly from whole food. I don't see anything wrong, again, with researching those supplements that may help a bit, but you do not want to rely on them. And if you get a balanced nutrition, and without making yourself crazy, like I say, I tend to go pretty lazy. I tend to just get a big plastic thing or what have you of pre-made at the salad bar at Whole Foods, the organic salad bar. And whenever I'm eating a meal, pretty much any meal, I will just kind of grab handfuls and make a quick salad, get some greens in there and get some vegetables. And I will also, of course, add some fresh fruit. The vegetables tend to be better in terms of preventing the metabolic acidosis and adding more buffering agents to the diet. But again, I'm talking in general terms. Go research this topic a bit, but don't make yourself crazy over it, because I see people do this all the time. They are literally worrying about, milligram for milligram, ounce for ounce, gram for gram of this protein acidic forming food and that alkalizing food and so on and so on. It's not needed. But people should be aware that the standard typical diet of meat heavy processed grains minus fruits and vegetables is bad for you. It will lead to a low-grade metabolic acidosis that over time, not days or weeks, but we're talking years here, does cut into your bone mass and your muscle mass, and that's something you want to avoid, obviously. So read the stuff that I linked to, and hope this info helps, and see you all on the Brink Zone.